The WagonR was the template for the budget-conscious, sensible family car that was neither too small nor a strain on your wallet. But no frills is passé, and so the cars in this segment have had to evolve. And that gives us the funky Tata Tiago and the upmarket Hyundai Santro. All three of them sit between the most affordable cars in India and the more aspirational hatchback space. Today we have with us the petrol manuals to see which one can pack in all the essentials while living up to our new age aspirations and being friendly on our wallets too. The Tata Tiago really pulls at your heartstrings, the sporty ones at that. These large headlamps, sharp angled nose and sharp lines down the side. And that means the Tiago is edging ahead a little bit in the looks department. It's also the only one that gets 15-inch alloys in this, the XZ Plus variant. Sadly, Maruti hasn't gone for a more extreme version of the K car look for the WagonR. It's slightly rounded on the edges, but it's still boxy. Yup, it's one of the tallest here, and it has the longest wheelbase too. The Santro is the cutie of the bunch. It sits between the WagonR and the Tiago when it comes to stance. It's not quite a tall boy, but it's not low slung either. So which one can wow you on the inside? The features list on these cars has grown much longer. All three of them feature steering mounted controls, Android Auto, 7-inch touchscreens, and electrically adjustable ORVMs. While electrically folding mirrors are offered on the WagonR, the Tiago goes one step further, with ones that automatically close or open when the car doors are locked or unlocked. So the Tiago's feature list is the longest, and one of the highlights is this awesome sounding 8-speaker sound system. And the Tiago's list goes on. Climate control, drive modes, driver's seat height adjust, and a cooled glove box. Yes, this XC Plus has the highest asking price at Rs 5.77 lakh, but for that many additional creature comforts, it does justify it. But there are some niggles to the Tiago cabin, like the way the touchscreen interface is a little slow and laggy to respond to your touch. The fit and finish of some of the plastics are not quite top-notch. The way the vents sound and feel just feels a little flimsy. And though these all-black interiors are very nice to look at, on a hot day like today, even this climate-controlled AC has a very tough time cooling this cabin down. When it comes to space, the Tiago finds a middle ground between the other two when it comes to legroom or the comfort of the seats. Taller passengers, though, may find headroom, or rather the lack of it, to be a little bit of a problem. In terms of storage in the back of the Tiago, you can store 3 1-litre bottles, one in both doors, or rather 2 in both doors and one in the middle here. But the front 2 doors can only accommodate 500 ml bottles. The Tiago is also the only car to feature adjustable headrests for both front seats. When it comes to price, the Santro may sit in the middle ground, but when it comes to the quality in the cabin, it's the best. The materials and the finish are just wow, better than cars from even a segment above. The Santro also has some unique features, like a reversing camera and AC vents in the rear as well. But then to save cost, Hyundai has cut a few corners. It misses out on one touchdown for the driver's window, there's no lane change indicator function, and the electrically adjustable mirrors don't fold electrically. Yes, those might be minor misses, but the absence of tilt adjust for the steering, lack of seat height adjustment, and separate washer and wiper functions are no laughing matter. It's blisteringly hot today, and if you were to be a passenger in one of these 3 cars, the Santro is the place you want to be. The AC is the most powerful, and these rear AC vents help circulate that cool air the fastest. Sitting 3 abreast in the Santro will be a tight affair, but for 2 people, it's really comfortable. That's because the seats have just the right kind of cushioning, there's lots of under-thigh support, and the angle of the seat backs is the most relaxed of the 3. Unlike the Tiago, there's plenty of headroom here. But what about the WagonR? When it comes to features in the WagonR, the only really unique one is the 60-40 split in the rear seats. The WagonR does practical the best. Everything from the door pockets, the storage spaces, and the steering mounted controls are nicely executed. And more importantly, you won't find too much missing in here. The one big complaint we have with the WagonR is the air conditioner. And with these large windows and this big volume, in the summer, it has the most problems cooling down the cabin quickly. And then you have to deal with these rather loud air vents for longer. Also, we would have complained about there being only 2 speakers on offer, but keep in mind, the Maruti has the lowest asking price here, so you will have money to spare for genuine accessories. If you must fit 3 abreast in one of these hatches, then the WagonR is your best bet, but only for short distances. In terms of seat design, the WagonR isn't the best. There's not much under-thigh support, but the way these front seats are designed with this high floor, I can really stretch my legs out, and that makes it very comfortable. And then it comes to the headroom. There's enough space in the WagonR to fit Khali or even Tushar in this back seat, and he wouldn't have his head touching the roof. And also these two-tone interiors further help enhance the feeling of space in the WagonR. And that space stretches even into the boot back there, which is 345 litres. And that's a big margin more than the other two. If there's one place in which Maruti have spent a big chunk of their time to improve the experience in the WagonR, it's in that engine. The 1.2 litre is the quickest over here. That 1.2 litre engine is the nicest to drive. It's quiet and it's quick too. And when I say quick, I mean in a very everyday usable manner, which means in the city you don't have too many gear changes to make, and when you do step on the throttle, it leaves the other two far behind. So the Santro has the other 4-cylinder in the test. And like the WagonR, it's quite nice and refined, but it has a slightly more raspy note to its exhaust. Once you do get up to speed, like on the highway, it is quite nice and enjoyable to drive. But in the city, you do need to work the gearbox a lot, because there's not much drive below 3000 RPM. So the Tiago has the most powerful engine here on paper, and it does nothing glaringly wrong, but it isn't the most peppiest either. In fact, it feels just a little more responsive than the Hyundai Santro, and that isn't saying too much. What lets this 3-cylinder down is the refinement, be it the vibrations that are entering through the steering and the floorboards, or the rumble from the engine. So the Tiago is the rough road champ. Over bad roads, at low speeds or high speeds, it eats potholes and speed breakers for breakfast. The quick steering and larger wheels give it a nice secured feeling on the road. But at city speeds, there's always some movement in the cabin over smaller imperfections, and that keeps you from really relaxing when you're commuting. The WagonR is the city slicker in this test. It glides over bumps and potholes like nothing else in this segment. In fact, even smaller imperfections in the road are ironed out almost completely. The flip side to that is that bigger bumps are heard as well as felt in the cabin at higher speeds. Out on the highway, you also need to drive a little bit more easy to keep body roll in check. And we'd also recommend maybe upgrading the tires for a better overall experience. The Santro is best enjoyed with a light load, and in these circumstances it can be comfortable and composed as well. It also has the best braking performance, but when fully loaded the ride can get quite bouncy, and your rear passengers are going to get tossed around quite a bit. When it comes to safety, all 3 of the cars get dual airbags, ABS and EBD, and rear parking sensors. The Santro is the only one to offer you a reversing camera, while the Tiago additionally features corner stability control. The Tiago's dull performance, shortfall in both engine refinement and the suspension in the city keep it from matching the appeal of that package. In terms of features and designs though, it does pack in a punch, while having the wow factor and the space and size of a family hatch. It's always going to be a heart over head decision for a young buyer. The Santro has its own appeal. That build quality and quiet cabin give it a nice relaxed plush air. But it's no longer the family car it was. Rather, it's more of an upmarket city runabout. In contrast, the WagonR edges ahead, but not because it offers any wow features, no. Maruti has peppered it with just enough features to keep it from feeling out of place in this class. And so, it's the substance that the WagonR offers that allows it to sneak ahead. It's comfortable and spacious. It's economical and peppy too. And though its city-focused nature has dampened its versatility just a little bit, it doesn't stop it from acing the sensibility quotient and grabbing that crown.